The warship Valkyrie. 9 moved slowly through deep space. Around it, the stars looked dead. Commander Reyes stood in the center of the bridge, calm and serious. His crew had been on patrol for 3 weeks. Nothing unusual. No enemies. No signals. Just silence. Then suddenly, "Sir, we are detecting a life signal," Lieutenant Mira said. Everyone looked at her. Reyes turned slowly. "From where?" "From the surface of planet K-47. The entire bridge became quiet. K-47 was not just any planet. It was a dead world. 5 years ago. It was destroyed during the war with the Xylar Empire. Every city burned. Every living thing wiped out. There were no survivors. That was confirmed. Reyes walked toward the screen. "How strong is the signal?" Mira looked confused. "It's small, very small, like a juvenile life form." One of the officers laughed. "After 5 years? Maybe some wild animal." Fleet Command appeared as a blue hologram in the air. Admiral Corvin looked bored. "Report." Reyes stood straight. "We have detected a single life form on K-47. Corvin raised an eyebrow. "Size?" "Small. Possibly a cub." The Admiral gave a short smile. "It's just a cub. Scan it, record it, and move on. We do not waste fleet time on strays." "Yes, sir," Reyes replied. The hologram disappeared. Most of the crew relaxed. But Mira did not. "Sir, something feels wrong." Reyes looked at her. "Explain." "The signal is small, yes, but the energy around it is strange." "Strange how?" "It's stable. Too stable. Like it is controlling the environment." Reyes folded his arms. "It's a baby creature on a dead planet. It won't last long." Mira turned back to her console. Then her screen flashed red. "Sir, energy spike detected." The comm bridge turned tense. "Source?" Reyes asked quickly. "The cub." Everyone froze. "That's impossible," someone whispered. The small on the planet's surface began glowing brighter on the display. Energy readings doubled, then tripled. "Gravitational shift detected." Another officer shouted. The ship shook slightly. Not from attack. From space bending. "What is happening?" Reyes demanded. "Sir, the cub is releasing energy waves." "How can a cub do that?" someone asked. Before anyone could answer, the first alarm screamed. Red lights flashed across the bridge. "Warning. Planetary core instability." Reyes stepped forward. "Zoom in." The screen showed the planet's surface. The ground around the life signal was cracking. Rocks were floating. The air shimmered like heat waves. And in the center, a small creature stood. It looked like a young lion cub. Golden fur. Silver glowing eyes. Small body. But the ground around it was melting. The cub was not running. Not hiding. It was looking up. Directly at the warship. In orbit. As if it knew they were there. "Sir," Mira whispered. "It's looking at us." The alarms grew louder. Power levels across the ship began fluctuating. Shield systems unstable. Engines reading interference. Comms experiencing distortion. Reyes felt something he rarely felt. Fear. Not because it was attacking, but because it wasn't. The cub simply stood there, watching. Fleet Command reconnected, voice now sharp. "Commander, report immediately." Energy surged from the surface. Reyes answered. "Source is a cub." "That is impossible." "Sir, it is bending gravity around it." There was silence on the other side. Then, "Deploy recon team. Capture if possible." Reyes hesitated for 1 second, then nodded. "Prepare drop unit." Below them, the planet's sky turned dark. Clouds formed from nowhere. Lightning cracked across the surface. But it was not natural lightning. It moved toward the cub, then stopped above it, like it was protecting it. "Sir, energy levels are matching capital-class warships," Mira said, her voice shaking. Reyes stared at the screen. "It's just a cub," he muttered. But even he did not believe it anymore. Suddenly, all screens went black for 1 second. Total silence. No alarms. No voices. Just darkness. Then everything came back online. But something had changed. Behind the cub, a shadow appeared. Huge, massive, wings made of light, eyes glowing like stars. It was not fully visible, not solid, but it was there, watching. The cub did not look afraid. It looked calm, protected, and when it blinked, every alarm on the Valkyrie, 9 began screaming at once. Power surged through the ship, weapons auto-armed, defense systems activated without command. Sir, something is overriding manual control. Who is doing this? Reyes shouted. No one, sir. The cub lifted one small paw. Space around the planet twisted, and the warship trembled, not from attack, from warning. 5 minutes earlier, Fleet Command had said, it's just a cub. Now, an entire warship was shaking because of it. Reyes stared at the small creature on the screen, and for the first time, he realized something terrible. It was not a survivor. It was not a stray. It was not alone. And whatever was standing behind it had just noticed humanity. The alarms kept screaming. And this time, they did not stop. The alarms did not stop. Red lights kept flashing across the bridge of Valkyrie 9. Commander Reyes stood still, staring at the screen. The cub was still there. Small, golden, calm, but behind it, the shadow was clearer now. Wings of light spread across half the sky. Not fully solid, not fully real, but powerful, very powerful. Energy readings are still rising. Mira shouted. How high? Reyes asked. Past dreadnought levels, sir. This is not possible. The warship shook again, not from an explosion, not from impact, from pressure, like space itself was pushing against them. Fleet Command came online. Admiral Corvin did not look calm anymore. Commander, what is that thing behind the cub? Reyes did not answer immediately, because he did not know. It appeared after the cub's energy spike. Mira said quickly, it is not physical. It looks like projection. Projection of what? The Admiral snapped. Before anyone could answer, the cub moved. Just one small step, and every screen flickered. The shadow behind it opened its eyes. 2 bright stars burned in the darkness. Then, every ship in orbit received the same signal. An unknown transmission. No language, no words. But everyone felt it. It was not sound. It was emotion. Warning. Fear spread across the bridge. One young officer whispered, it's talking to us. Weapons on all fleet ships powered up automatically. Not by command, by defense protocol. Because the system detected a threat beyond calculation. Sir, our AI is classifying the cub as an extinction-level entity, Mira said. Reyes' jaw tightened. It's just a cub, one officer repeated weakly. But no one believed that anymore. Suddenly, the drop team shuttle entered the planet's atmosphere. Drop team approaching target, the pilot reported. On the main screen, 6 armored soldiers stepped onto the broken surface of K-47. The ground around them glowed red from heat. But around the cub, the ground was untouched. Calm, safe. The soldiers slowly walked forward. Weapons raised. Target visual confirmed. Their captain said through comms, it appears juvenile, non-aggressive. The cub tilted its head. Curious, almost innocent. One soldier lowered his weapon slightly. It's smaller than my dog back home, he said quietly. Then, the shadow behind the cub grew larger. The temperature around the soldiers dropped instantly. Ice formed on their armor. Sir, we are experiencing sudden atmospheric shift. On the ship, readings went wild again. Gravity spike. Magnetic field distortion. Reyes stepped closer to the screen. Pulled them back. But it was too late. The cub lifted its eyes. Not angry. Not violent. Just tired. The soldiers' weapons powered down. Not broken. Simply turned off. Armor systems failed. HUD displays blank. Sir, we have lost control of their tech. The soldiers were now standing helpless in front of the cub. The shadow moved. Slow. Massive. One wing passed over the soldiers. And every man dropped to one knee. Not forced. Not attacked. Their bodies simply gave up. Like they were standing before something ancient. Life sign stable, Mira said, shocked. They are not harmed. The The cub walked closer to them, tiny paws touching cracked stone. It looked at one soldier's helmet, then gently placed its paw on it. At that moment, every warship in orbit shut down. Complete power loss. Silence in space. Engines dead. Weapons offline. Lights flickered out. Only emergency systems remained. Total system override, an officer shouted. No external hacking detected. Reyes felt cold, not physical cold. Something deeper. Understanding. The cub was not attacking. It was showing them how small they were. Fleet Command's voice returned, broken with static. Commander, retreat immediately. This is beyond fleet capability. For the first time, the Admiral sounded afraid. On the surface, the cub looked up again, directly at the Valkyrie 9, silver eyes glowing softly. And then, something impossible happened. The shadow behind it faded slightly, as if waiting, as if giving a choice. Reyes understood. If the cub wanted to destroy them, they would already be gone. Instead, it had only disabled them, warned them, protected itself. Mira looked at Reyes. So it's alone. Reyes stared at the screen. The cracked planet, the destroyed world, the small cub standing in the center of it. Last survivor, last guardian, last weapon. And humanity had arrived with guns ready. The cub made a soft sound. Not a roar, not a cry. A call, across space, and far beyond sensor range. Something answered. Dozens, hundreds, unknown signals entering the system. Fast, very fast. Myra's face went pale. Sir, multiple warp signatures detected. How many? She swallowed. Too many. The shadow behind the cub opened its wings fully. Stars dimmed. Space trembled. And this time, the alarms did not scream. Because there was no power left to scream with. The fleet had 5 minutes to decide. Fight or understand. And whatever was coming through warp would decide the future of humanity forever. Fire. The fleet was blind. Engines dead. Weapons offline. Power almost gone. Around planet K-47, the human warships floated like silent metal graves. Commander Reyes stood in darkness on the bridge of Valkyrie 9. Only red emergency lights were active. Warp signatures closing fast. Mira whispered. On the main screen, space began to tear open. One warp gate, then another, then dozens. Massive shapes emerged from the distortion. Ships unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Smooth silver hulls. Wings shaped like curved blades. Energy flowing across them like living light. They surrounded the system in seconds. Not attacking. Just watching. Sir, Mira said quietly, those ships, they are protecting the cub. Fleet Command's broken signal came through again. All ships prepare for final engagement. Reyes cut the transmission. Silence filled the bridge. He looked at the planet, at the cub, at the shadow behind it. The shadow was now clear. A being of ancient light. Not fully physical. Not fully energy. Something beyond science. The cub stood alone on a broken world, last survivor of its species. And humanity had come with weapons first. Reyes made a decision. All hands, he said calmly. Power down everything that is still active. The crew looked at him in shock. Sir, we will not fight. But Commander, if they wanted us dead, we would already be dust. The order was carried out. Across the human fleet, remaining power cores shut down. Weapon systems fully disengaged. No targeting locks. No shield charge. Nothing. Just silence. On the surface, the cub tilted its head again, silver eyes glowing softly. The shadow behind it began to shrink, not disappear, just soften. The massive alien ships in orbit-adjusted formation, energy signatures lowered. They were waiting, testing. One small shuttle detached from the largest alien vessel. It did not fire weapons. It moved slowly toward the planet. Reyes took a deep breath. Prepare a diplomatic channel. Sir, we have no power for full transmission. Use emergency frequency. Mira opened the channel. Static filled the air. Reyes stepped forward. This is Commander Reyes of the human fleet. His voice was steady. We came here believing this was only a stray survivor. He looked at the cub on the screen. We were wrong. Silence. Then, a response. Not in words. Not in human language. But translated slowly by the ship systems. You came with fire. Reyes did not deny it. Yes. A pause. Then, why do you stand down? Reyes glanced at his crew, then back at the screen. Because it is a child. Silence again. Long. Heavy. The cub took a small step forward. The shadow behind it faded even more. The alien fleet adjusted again. No attack formation. No weapon charge. Just observation. Then the translated voice came once more. This world was burned by war. Images flooded the human screens. The destruction of K-47. Cities falling. Species erased. The cub's kind hunted. Wiped out, all except one. The cub was not just a survivor. It was the last heir, and the shadow behind it was not a weapon. It was an ancient guardian, a protector bound to royal blood. The alien voice spoke again. We tested you. The bridge grew silent. Tested? Mira whispered. If you fired, your species would end. Cold truth. No drama. Just fact. The alien ships in orbit powered slightly brighter. Not threatening, just showing capability. Humanity had been seconds away from extinction because someone said, it's just a cub. The voice continued. You chose restraint. The cub looked up at the warship. Its silver eyes no longer glowing with power, just sadness and something else. Hope. The alien fleet began withdrawing slightly. The tension in space softened. You will not be forgotten, human commander. Reyes exhaled slowly. We do not want war. A final pause. Then learn. The massive shadow behind the cub fully dissolved into light. The cub looked smaller now. Just a young creature again. Not bending gravity. Not shaking space. Just standing alone. The alien shuttle descended to the surface. Gentle beams of light surrounded the cub. It did not resist. Before entering the shuttle, it looked up one last time, directly at Valkyrie 9, and for a brief second, Reyes felt it, not fear, not warning, gratitude. Then the shuttle lifted off. The alien fleet opened their warp gates. One by one, the massive ships disappeared. Silence returned to K-47. Power slowly came back online on human vessels. Systems rebooted. Engines reactivated. No damage. No losses. Just a lesson. Fleet command reconnected. Voice shaken. Commander, what happened? Reyes looked at the empty orbit. At first, we saw a cub. He paused. But it was never just a cub. He turned to his crew. Set course away from the system. As the fleet moved out, Mira spoke quietly. Sir, do you think we will see them again? Reyes stared at the stars. Yes. Next time, I hope we meet as allies. The Valkyrie 9 entered warp. Far behind them, in deep space, ancient beings watched. And for the first time in a long time, they marked humanity as something rare. Not conquerors, not destroyers, but a species capable of choice. And sometimes, choice is more powerful than any weapon.